Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats, my magic and mostly mentalism review show. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode I'll be chatting with you guys about Mana by Louis Laval and the 1914. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel, and as always, thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about Mana from Louis Laval. Now this review, alright, is quite late, because Mana has been released quite early this year. In fact, sometime in April, I believe. And even though it's released early, the original version of this routine actually was released sometime in 2017, I believe, because it's not like a new routine altogether. Louis has published this before in a PDF that was called, I hope I say this correctly, Precantrix. Okay, Precantrix. In that PDF, this routine was actually called The Reader. So I think if you are watching this episode, you probably would fall into one of two categories. The first category of you would be people who have not bought Mana, and you have no idea what the routine is about. And the second group of you probably know of the previous routine called The Reader, but you have not picked up Mana and you would like to kind of know the difference between both of these versions. If you already have picked up Mana from the 1914, then I don't know, come along for the ride just to listen to my voice, I suppose. So if you did pick up Precantrix back in 2017 when it was first released, you would know of the routine, right, called The Reader. So the basic routine and the basic method at play hasn't changed much, I think, because I bought the PDF back then, alright, and I also bought Mana now. Well, because obviously you know that I'm a Louis Laval fanboy, but I also would like to see the kind of changes that the routine has gone through. The whole effect is pretty much the same. The only difference is this little bit at the end, alright, towards the end of the routine, which I will describe to you guys in just a short while. And ever since I picked up the routine from Precantrix, I have performed it casually in casual situations, on and off, right? In addition to another routine by Louis Laval that is called Art of Knowing. So it is a really strong practical routine. All you need are really just 4 blank business cards, and you are off and running. So for those of you who have not heard of Mana, alright, so here's the basic effect. Okay, so the effect is, well, you take 4 blank business cards and you have a spectator write down the name of someone that has an emotional connection with them on one of the cards. The spectator then mixes the 4 cards face down, they lay them onto a row onto the table, and from there you, the performer, are able to kind of sense where that card is. So you will kind of eliminate 2 of the blank cards, and then the remaining 2, they are still kept face down. You have the spectator hold out their palm just like this, and you have them have a go as well. So you hold out 1 card above their hand and you get them to try and sense where the name is on the remaining 2 cards. So you let them have a feel of both of the cards. They decide on one. That card is placed onto their palm. They keep their other hand on top of the card. The other card that is eliminated is shown to be blank as well. So they have, well, located the card with the name. From there, with the final card sandwiched in between the spectator's hands, you can then go into any kind of presentation you want and sense the energy, and subsequently you will be able to reveal the name that is written on the card itself. So what do you get when you purchase Mana from the 1914? Well, again, it is a whole bunch of tutorial videos that will be made available on your 1914 account. Louis will give you a brief introduction about the effect itself, and then there will also be a live studio performance of the whole routine so that you can see it from start to finish in its entirety. He will then take you through everything you need to know about how to perform the effect, from the setup and the actual performance of the effect itself, the moves that you will need to learn. Louis will also give you some options, alternative handlings that you can use to perform the effect, some alternative presentational ideas as well, and then there will be an outro at the end, bringing the whole tutorial to a close. So this kind of an effect is not like a new thing, right? I mean, there are a couple of versions out there, I think. Previously I think there was one that was called Zoltar, Zoltar, that was by Sean Dunn, ironically also presented by Louis Laval. There's also something by Joel Dickinson, I think, that was released sometime this year, I'm not sure, called Peaked, I think, along with Michael Murray. So what do I like about mana? Well, mana is really the kind of close-up mentalism routine that I really enjoy performing, right? I don't perform professional close-up anymore, right? But if I were to still do a gig or so here and there, this is a routine that I would definitely incorporate somehow. I like it also that it uses props that are consistent, all right, with the kind of EDC that I carry around these days, right? All I need are just 4 of these blank index cards, and I am ready to go at a moment's notice. Now, in the tutorial itself, Louis will tell you his preference for performing the effect. There is a kind of setup that needs to be done, you know, a really quick bit of business to perform it with business cards. So in the thumbnail for this video, you would have seen me holding up this set of cards. Alright, now these cards are actually directly from Luca Volpe's The Fox. Okay, so these are the cards that are provided with that particular product. I just took the design and I added in my own details. Alright, so these are actually perfect to perform mana with, okay, because the work can be done really easily, and it literally just takes like a second to set up mana. However, you know, daily, on a day-to-day basis, if I were to just go around and perform this effect, you know, these are the kind of cards that I would use. Now, the setup again is literally just done on the fly, okay? I can literally just set it up really quickly, okay? So, you know, it works either way. You can do the setup beforehand with a kind of, you know, business card kind of a design, or you can just use blank cards as I do. Method-wise, you know, it's going to be really easy to perform, okay? Obviously, you will need some basic kind of card handling skills, okay, and Louis goes over everything you need to know. He'll show you step by step how to perform all the moves itself. The moves are kind of, I suppose, quite, you know, flexible in a way that you can kind of do it the way you feel comfortable, all right? And there are like just so many moves out there, right? We can kind of pick and choose what we prefer. But more often than not, I just use the handling that Louis teaches on the video, and it just works really well. It works perfectly. The angles wise for this routine, it's really standard, I suppose. You know, if you have performed any routines where, you know, you get information on the spot from spectators' cards, right? The angles are pretty much like that. You know, you don't want anybody like standing directly behind you. But even then, I think it's quite easily managed, and there are many opportunities, you know, within that short span of time where the method happens, for you to take the right moment to do the work. And then once you have that piece of information, the rest of the routine is just acting, all right? And this is actually the part of performing this routine that I really enjoy a lot, you know, along with Art of Knowing, all right, from Louis Laval. It really is just acting, right? So the method is just done so early on, and all that's left for you to do is to just deliver and perform the effect in as believable a way as possible, or as unbelievable a way as possible. Yeah. So towards the end of the routine, there is that phase where, you know, the spectator as mind reader phase, right? Where you mix up these two cards and you hold the cards above their hands, one at a time, and you just kind of, you know, give them an opportunity to feel whether that card contains the name or not. This phase, I mean, it's optional, I suppose, but it fits in nicely with the premise, all right, for mana, which is that of sensing energy from the cards. So if you are going to be performing this with a kind of psychometry kind of an angle, then that phase would kind of fit in quite well, okay? But if you were to be the kind of, you know, Darren Brownie psychological performer, then that phase wouldn't really make sense within the context of the presentation. But all in, you know, mana is a routine that is really practical, takes up really little space, all right? It's just literally just 4 blank cards that I carry with me anyway, you know, so anytime I'm asked to perform something, this is definitely one of the routines that I will be performing. If you'd like to pick up a copy of Mana for yourselves, you can do so at the 1914. I will leave the link in the description box down below. Alright, so that's all for today's episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed yourselves and got something out of it. Till the next episode, do stay safe, have fun with your magic and mentalism, and I will see you on a future episode of Nique Chats.